Good morning. Louise here, and I am going to be talking about Instagram this morning and how I use Instagram to connect with people in a real way. So, this isn't an Instagram training where I'm going to be telling you the ins and outs of like how to invite. It's really about how to connect with people in a real way because I feel like there it's Instagram has kind of gone through a shift where there's so many people now using Instagram to grow their business, which is a really good thing. But also, people are a lot more um, skeptical and just looking for real. They're not looking for the picture perfect Instagram. They're not looking for I don't know, the picture perfect conversation. Um, and they're just a lot more like looking for authentic. So this is what I have been doing over the past few months, kind of just actually naturally. And then when I sat down this morning to really write it out, I realized that it's actually a method to my madness. All right, so grab a pen and paper and your phone if you want, because we're going to be going through Instagram. So the first thing is I want you to do an activity. So with your pen and paper, I want you to think about who your ideal client is, who your ideal coach is, and who your ideal rock star is. So your rock star is somebody who you would love to work with, who you would love to collaborate with, whether that is on a podcast, on a blog, build a business with, like just somebody that you truly connect with who's like your ride or die. So let's start with the ideal client. So when you think about your ideal client, think about who you would love to help with their health and fitness, with their mindset, with their nutrition, whatever it is that you're focusing on for your client. And when you think about that client, think about maybe who you were when you got into health and fitness, when you got into really digging down deep into your mindset, and think about like everything about who your ideal client is, like right down to the magazines they read. So maybe think about how old they are, whether they are married, whether they went to university, what job they have, whether they work part-time, full-time, what their salary is, if they're married, single, divorced, widowed, separated, whatever. If they are like what their income is, going for some debt, what they struggle with, if they suffer with anxiety or depression, trauma, not feeling good enough, if they have best friends, like write down deep into every part of their life, so that you can really figure out who they are and how to connect with them on Instagram. And I will actually, when I post this, I will write out a list of the questions that I ask myself when I'm looking for, when I'm doing this exercise for me with my ideal client, coach, and rock star. All right. So that's number one. Number two is to use Instagram like a real person. So how you would use Instagram to find the people, like if you didn't have a business, if you were just using Instagram to connect with people who inspire you, motivate you, who just like speak to you. So instead of like, thinking about like, oh, well, who, searching hashtags like, I don't know, Beachbody or Shakeology or like very fitness based, really figuring out who, based on number one, like figuring out who your ideal client is, figuring out what hashtags they would use and really connecting with those people. So when you find those people, connect with them in a real way, have real conversations, ask questions in a real way, um, care about them, and really put time and effort into that relationship, just like you would if you were in the real world, in real life. Because, you know, even though you're behind the screen on Instagram, people are still looking for those real connections and real conversations. And this is a really good opportunity to care and to just make yourself stand out from the crowd. You know, really put in that effort to get the relationship and to make a difference in somebody's life. Number three, find that one person who you just get, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have a few people on Instagram who I always go to. I always go to their stories, always go to their profiles, not because they're famous or they have like amazing pictures or anything, but just because I really connect with them and I feel like they're living my life or the life that I want to live, not leave. Rogan said. So find that one person, and you know, you can go through, like, you can find that person in so many different ways on Instagram. Sorry, I've got a baby monitor over here. So you can go through stories, you know, see who you connected with. You can go through friends of friends. That's a really good way to find new people on Instagram, is to go to your friends or the people that you follow and look at their followers, see who they follow, and then kind of go down a rabbit hole of followers of followers of followers of followers. Tags that you would use, or tags that your and hashtags, I mean, that your ideal client or coach or rock star would use, and then look for the people that are using those hashtags or following those hashtags. Suggested videos and IGTV. Now, I will say that it's a really good idea to set yourself a timer when you're doing this activity, because it is very easy to lose 2 or 3 hours of your time when you are going through down that rabbit hole of Instagram. Number 4 is, when you find that person, be real. So when you find that person who, you know, that you just get, and it might be actually more than one person, and that person might evolve into different people over time as you grow, as you know, you discover more on Instagram. So be real, and because, like I was saying, you know, people can see through inauthenticity. I don't know if that's a word, but when you are inauthentic, people can see through that. And I don't know about you guys, but I get so many messages every day, you know, with just like a script, and it's so obvious to me, even before I started coaching, so obvious to me when somebody's scripting me, and it just makes me feel like a number versus a person. And I would not put time and effort into that relationship, to be honest with you. So quality over quantity. So again, when you find that person, see who follows them and who they follow, and really go down that rabbit hole of who they're connecting with, and who's connecting with them. And, you know, generally the people that they are connecting with and are connecting with them will also be your kind of person. I mean, obviously there's going to be like the spam accounts and all of that, but go down that rabbit hole, and again, set yourself a timer, because you will lose hours of your life otherwise. Number 5 is to keep a list of those people that you are, who you feel like are your ideal clients, coaches, rock stars, and the people that you feel like you really connect with on Instagram. And then just interact with them in a real way. You know, watch their stories, interact with their polls, interact with their stories, you know, like, you know, doing emojis, send messages to their stories. Don't overdo it, because that's also like a little bit creepy if you're like messaging to every story. Good morning. I'm almost done with my training. I'm just recording.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm recording, by the way, FYI.
For You coming to yoga?
Twurkshop.
Okay,
All right,
yoga.
I'm gonna get. Yeah, I'm gonna be done in 2 minutes.
You're gonna be done in
2 minutes.
2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do yoga. All right. So keep a list, connect with them in a real way, comment on their stories, like their posts and messages, and just be real. Okay, so number 6 is when you have made those connections, take the conversation to what are you struggling with? Like ask the question, what is it in life that, like, if you could have your ideal life, what would that look like? If it was like, in 6 months, what was the best thing that you could envision? And then meet them where they are. That it doesn't have to always be the challenge pack, because that is so restricting to so many people, because that's not where they are. So we have so many things that we can offer them. We have the free group, which has a different theme every month. We have the PD group. We have the fitness group. We have coaching. We have retreats and workshops and just friendship and mentorship and support. So ask those people where they are struggling and meet them where they are. That is such a beautiful thing, especially about coaching with this team, is that we have the opportunity to really meet people where they are. The reason that we are doing this is because we came across so many people who were just not at the challenge pack stage. And so it's such a beautiful thing to be able to offer people more things. All right, so that's how I use Instagram. I'm gonna put in the comments to this or the post or whatever, I'll put the questions, the ideal client, coach, rockstar questions, and the my 6 points. All right, and let me know if you have any questions. And I'm gonna get off so Linda can do her yoga.